Most wives enjoy leafing through their wedding album, but for Christy Sutton it brings a shudder. Because staring out from the pictures of what should have been the happiest day of her life is the face of a pedophile monster who raped her throughout her childhood. Her depraved attacker was a family friend, George Spooner. Such was his grip on Christy that she felt compelled to invite him to her big day. Looking back on the incredible decision, she realizes the extent to which manipulative Spooner's reign of fear had dogged her life and crippled her emotions. Christy is now 27, and has waived her legal right to remain anonymous. She recalled, "I felt obliged to invite him. Everyone would have asked why he was excluded, and I just wasn't ready to tell them yet. The thought terrified me." Spooner's sinister presence at the wedding eventually made the bride realize she had to act to bring him to justice. The mum of 3 reported Spooner, 54, to police. Today he is awaiting sentence after being found guilty of child rape and indecent assault. Speaking after the conviction, Christy told the Sunday People, "My wedding should have been the happiest day of my life, but it wasn't. It was tainted by his presence. Now, so many years on, I feel good because I've taken a pervert off the streets. But the legacy of what that monster did is with me every day." Christy first encountered Spooner when he moved into her home as a lodger when she was only 5. He was a delivery driver, a family friend who had fallen on hard times. Christy's parents took him in, unaware of his perverted interest in youngsters. Christy said, "From the start, he made me his special pet. He stood up for me when I was told off. He hugged me and tickled me. Soon when we were alone he was touching me sexually. After 6 months he moved out, but his new home was round the corner, so he was still on and out of her place all the time. Sometimes he would take me to work with him, and sexually abuse me in the back of cars and vans. There were other times when he'd ask Mom if I could go to his place for a sleepover. The abuse escalated. It's hard to remember exactly how old I was, but each time, he moved things up a notch. By the time I was 9, George was regularly using me for oral sex and full sex. She was too young to understand the seriousness of what was happening. And Christy said Spooner even warped her mind to the point where she felt he was a friend. He told her that her parents didn't love her, and he was the only person who did. Christy said, "My family was large and chaotic, moving around a lot. George was manipulative, playing mind games to exploit my fears. He told me my parents knew everything he was doing and didn't mind. I believed whatever adults said. So I felt there was no point talking to anyone. Sexual activity seemed like a price I had to pay for somebody to take an interest in me and care for me.